No degree? No problem. Today we're sharing 6-figure paying careers that don't require a degree.
Just because we didn't go to college doesn't mean it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the income.
Now, before we hop into today's show, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified every single time we drop a new video. Alrighty, now let's jump into the video.
Welcome to the table, yeah. We gon' get real, we gon' get right. Oh, building up wealth, we gon' give life. Welcome to the table, yeah. Welcome to the table, build wealth, life. Welcome to the table.
There's 5 classes of individuals in the world. 5. And I want to break down the 5 classes of what we have. 19%, well, no. First class is poverty class. Working class / poverty class. Working class. Middle class. Upper middle class. And upper class. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 classes of people. And when I was reading this study, you guys know me, I'm always reading, I'm always studying, and I'm always expanding my knowledge and always trying to find different ways and different approaches on how to help us really understand finances and how to really help us understand wealth and help us understand how do we build our table and help us really understand this stuff, right? And while I was reading this study is the middle class, and it breaks down the growth and the opportunities for middle class. And it was comparing the Black households compared to all households. And when I was reading this study, I was a little disappointed, but I really want to help y'all understand the middle class before we get into the careers that I believe can help change these statistics, especially when it comes to people of color, minorities, and all people who want to change their income brackets. But to be considered poverty, you're making under $15,000 a year. To be considered within a working class / poverty, you're making $15,000 to $25,000 a year. To be in the working class, not working class / poverty, but to be in working class, you're making $25,000 to $50,000 a year. Where the majority of America lives is middle class individuals. And middle class are making anywhere, watch this, between $50,000 to $150,000 a year. Now, y'all probably saying $150,000 is still considered middle class, depending on what state that you're in. So if you're living in a California, if you're living in a New York, then yes, that is considered a middle class. Now, upper middle class is going to be $150,000 to $200,000 a year. But to be in the upper class group of people, you're making $200,000 or more a year. Now, I want to bring to the forefront, where are the Black households compared to all households? Well, 19% of African Americans, Black households, are in 19%, while all households are at about 10%. When it comes to Black households who are in a working class / poverty class, 13% are in the working class / poverty, while 9% of all households. Now, when it comes to Black households, when it comes to working class, these are individuals who are making $25,000 to $50,000 a year. 25% of Black people are making $25,000 to $50,000 a year. And working class, all households, that's 21%. Do you see the numbers here? We are interesting. Now watch this. You see that we were leading, make sure I'm right. Yep. We were leading poverty. We were leading working class poverty. We were leading working class. When it comes to middle class, where 36% of us are making $50,000 to $150,000 a year, when all households, 45%, are leading, making $50,000 to $150,000. I want to pause, y'all. I want to pause. We're leading and making less. We're not leading when it comes to making more money. 4% of people of African Americans are making about $150,000 to $200,000, and 3% of us are making $200,000 or more. And as I was reading these stats and really diving into this information, what I learned was a lot of us do not have a degree. And a lot of us, because we don't have a degree, we don't go after high income, high paying jobs. And what I love about this is it gave me something to really talk about today, which is how do we get six-figure jobs with no degree? How do we start getting more income and we don't have a degree? Well, one of those ways are getting a certificate. One of those ways are honestly doing the research. And so today I really want to break this down. We have to get back to the point, not get back to the point, we have to start doing more research. Because a lot of us do not have degrees. A lot of us do not have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree. And just because we didn't go to college doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the income. Now listen, studies show that if you have some level of further education, a degree, a certificate, an associate's degree, some level of further education, yeah, you will make more money, right? And I do believe that furthering our education is very, very important. But you do not have to have a bachelor's degree to make six figures. We don't. If the average person is making about $42,000 to $43,000 a year, we should be making more. We should be striving for more. And when I read this study, I was a little disappointed because I'm like, man, there's a lot of great jobs out there that, watch this, may not be attractive to the eye up front, but you can make real good money. You may start off making less than six figures, but if you get into the career field, if you get into this job, you can work your way up to making six figures. You can work your way up to, watch this, to really, really providing for your family. So listen, today, this is what I want to do. I want to start off today by going over, I believe, some of the easiest and top paying jobs that do not require a degree to make six figures. And I'm pausing. I have that long pause because I really want y'all to get it. I really want you to hear my heart on, if we just do the research, we can do it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, here's something I really want you to do. I want you to write down in the comment, put in the comments right now, if you want to be, if you want to make, if you want to see at one point in time of your life, at some point in time in your life, you making six figures. Here's where I tend to go viral at, because I think some people take it the wrong way. And I apologize if this comes off wrong. I genuinely do, but hear my heart. I believe that every man who is leading a family should be striving to make six figures. Because as we see, inflation is real and inflation is here. I don't see it dropping down drastically anytime soon. So if the cost of living, if the cost of bare necessities are going up, then we should be striving and figuring out a way to where our income is going up as well. The days of making excuses of I can't do it because of this or that and this or that's gone, you guys. We need to start making more money, whether that's having a job and having a great side business, or whether that is getting in a career and we're going up the ladder because we love what we do and we're making $150,000 a year. All of the jobs that I'm going to go over today, you can make anywhere between $90,000, $80,000 up to $200,000 a year. And I want to thank my partners over there at Bethel Tech who have an amazing program, the one and only Christian Boot Camp. Yo, what's going on, fam? Are you ready to make a big career move here by the end of this year? Why not pivot into the flourishing tech industry with the Bethel School of Technology, recognized globally as the sole Christian online tech boot camp? You see, with African Americans constituting a mere 7.9% of the U.S. tech workforce, I believe it's time to narrow this display and unlock opportunities for everyone in this thriving sector. Bethel Tech is steadfast in its mission to make tech careers accessible, rewarding, and economically advantageous for all individuals. Their comprehensive 9-month program is designed to equip you with the necessary skills to propel you into your technology career and move forward at a high speed. You see, recent reports from Indeed suggest that software developers in the U.S. command an average annual salary of approximately about $103,000. This is well above the national average of $48,000. You see, diversify your tech education by choosing from their specialized programs like cybersecurity and UI/UX design. With Bethel Tech, you're not just kickstarting a career, you're igniting a passion with a purpose. I want you to say goodbye to the prospects of crippling student loan debts and instead invest a mere 9 months to transform your next decade of your professional journey. Step into your potential with Bethel Tech and turn your career aspirations into reality. To begin, I want you to go to anthonyoneal.com/Bethel or click the link in today's show notes. Again, that is anthonyoneal.com/Bethel. Don't wait another moment to take the first step towards a bright and promising future into a career space that can make you a millionaire. They have a mission, a strong mission, to make sure that we've partnered to really make sure that we get this in front of minority and Black people, because the tech programs, the tech careers are creating more millionaires, more net worth millionaires than any other career field in the world. So let's dive into the first career that I believe is worth you all looking into it, because I've always wondered, how much money do they make? You see, I'm always on a airplane at least 2 or 3 times a month. I'm traveling somewhere, and I always see that big old building, right, of people who are watching the people fly out. These are the air traffic controllers. These are the individuals who are controlling the air traffic, telling people when they can land, when they can leave. And I've always wondered, like, wow, I wonder how much do they make? Does it require a degree? And I did some research. They guide the planes and ensure safe travel. So they ensure that we are safe. And here's what I love. Their salary ranges anywhere between $70,000 on the low end up to $170,000 a year. These are the people that if our flights are delayed, it's because of them. If we can't back out and get onto the runway, it's because of them. If we land early and we can get another gate to go park, it's because of them. If they see 5 planes about to land at one time and they tell us, hey, you got to circle around so we can let this other plane land first and you come in, it's because of them. And they are making good money. Now, what are some of the pros about this particular career? High salary and federal benefits. Now, you know, them federal benefits be running good. And I don't know all the federal benefits. I don't know if they're all the same. But, man, sometimes they cover 100% of your health insurance. They cover 100% of your dental insurance. Like, the benefits are great. I don't know if that's the case for all of them. But I do know in certain areas, man, them federal benefits was rocking. They were rocking good. Now, what are some of the cons? It could definitely be stressful. Let's be real. It could definitely be stressful knowing that you have lives in your hand. If you're 1 second late, man, if you accidentally tell 2 planes to land, that's an issue. Which brings up another con. Because it's very stressful and because it is very, very strategic, and you have to be very, very on top of your A game, it's intensive training. You got to go through training, and not just training up front, but from what I was reading and researching, you go through a lot of training throughout the year to make sure that you're up to date on all the current equipment, you're up to date on all the new airplanes and how they maneuver and the basics of those airplanes. You are the individual that is pretty much making sure the United States of America is safe in the air. I was doing some research. You got to learn how to communicate with the next. So if I'm on a plane and I'm leaving, let's say I'm leaving New York and I go to California, you're going to talk to different air traffic controllers. And you got to know how to pass off to this person, pass off to that person. And you got to be tracking every single thing. That's a lot, which is why they make a lot of money. But it doesn't require a 4-year degree. If you're good with systems and pretty much organization, oh, this is a good career field for you to look into. It's not an easy career field for you to get into because it does require, like I said, extensive training. But if you know that you're good with organization, you can see things and you can multitask very good, this could be a very, 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 very career field for you to look into. Now, the pathway is you got to dive into the FAA requirements, trainings, and some examinations. It's very, very clear. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you're like, okay, this is a pretty dope career. I could look into this. I could really look into this. I don't know if I'll be honest with you, I couldn't do it. Having that many lives on my hand, I would be stressed out. But hey, you're making good money. Here's number two. You guys know me, I'm always traveling. And I always get on the elevator. And I remember one time, I think I was like 30, 31. The elevator got stuck. I was stuck in the elevator for about I'll say about 15, 20 minutes. Hear the people up there working. I was like, And I would say about the first 2 minutes, I was scared. Then after that, when they talked to us and said, hey, we're fixing it. We're going to fix the issue. Give us 10, 15 minutes. It's an easy issue. I was like, okay. All right, cool. Let's do it. And y'all, I got to say, I was like, okay, this is easy. This is easy. Okay. All right. And so I came home and I started looking like, okay, well, I wonder what do elevator mechanics make? And I was even thinking like, do you really need to go to school to learn that? Do I have to have a 4-year degree to learn how to work on elevators? And so here's an overview of what an elevator mechanic does. They keep the world's vertical transit systems running smoothly. Vertical. So when you're going up 15 floors, 25 floors, 54 floors, 103 floors, an elevator mechanic keep those things running smoothly. What's the salary range? Low end $40,000 to get into it. Once you really learn it, about $115,000 for people who've learned it and been in it for a while. Now here's some of the pros. Union benefits and consistent demand. High demand. Thousands of jobs, when I was looking it up, are available right now for elevator mechanics. But sometimes, here's what I've learned. Sometimes I feel as if people feel as if that if I'm not in a suit and tie sitting down at a desk, I'm not making a lot of money. But what I've learned is honestly, sometimes it's the opposite. If you're not getting your hands dirty, you may not be making a lot of money. What's going on, fam? It's your boy, Anthony ONeal here, and I want to thank my dear friends at BetterHelp for sponsoring today's amazing show. Now, here's the thing. The end of the year can be a mixed bag of emotions. Let's be real, right? Joy, stress, and a bit of seasonal blues, especially if we're single. That's why I think it's key to find something positive to kind of balance this thing out. One thing that's worked for me has been therapy, because I truly do believe therapy can be a game changer. It's about building skills, setting boundaries, and empowering yourself to be your very best self. And that's where my friends at BetterHelp comes in. It's online therapy, convenient and super flexible. You simply fill out a brief 10-minute questionnaire, get matched with an amazing licensed therapist quickly. And what I really love about it is, let's say if you need to switch and try someone else out, you can. So listen, this season, I want you to find your bright spot with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/AO. Let's make this season about thriving, not just surviving. Let's get back to the show. An elevator mechanic's gonna get his hands dirty. Elevator mechanic has to jump into, the elevator areas and fix certain things. They're not in the suit and tie. What are some of the cons about this job? Let's be real. It could be a little dangerous. And to be honest with you, elevators are running 24/7. So you're going to be on call sometimes 24/7. But you're making $115,000 a year. I'm on call. I'm on call. I could do that. I actually like doing things with my hands. And a good part of me is knowing that this is helping people get to and from their destination, and that if I do this correctly, it protects people's lives. I honestly love doing stuff like that. Put a 2 in the chat if you could be an elevator mechanic. Put a 2 in the chat if you could be an elevator, in the comments if you could be an elevator mechanic. Here's the pathway: a detailed apprenticeship, union benefits, and safety protocols. This doesn't require a 4-year degree. Here's another one. I talk about this all the time. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. Technology sales. The tech industry. Selling technology products, selling iPhones, selling computers, selling tech online, selling tech, period. Oh my goodness. Now, what's the overview of this particular job? It's they dive into the tech world, selling software, hardware, and other services in the tech industry. And I think a lot of people get it confused when we talk about the technology sales. These are not cold calling people. You're not going out there and you're cold calling people. No, these are people who found your website. These are people who, for an example, Amazon has a good cloud service that a lot of people are not really aware about. Amazon doesn't really make all of their money on Amazon.com. They have an Amazon cloud service. And there's a lot of companies that use their services for the cloud services. So for a clear, good example, so you can understand how technology sales work is, let's say I want to use Amazon's cloud service for my company. Well, I'm going to call Amazon, or I'm going to fill out a form on Amazon's cloud service website and say, hey, I am interested in learning more about your product. Can someone give me a call? Then the tech salesperson gives them a call. So it's not cold calling. You're not trying to convince someone to sell. No. They're looking for your services. It is your job to get them a little bit more interested and then transfer them to a professional to walk through the entire program and to close the deal. But in tech sales, it's your job to do the intro calls and position them to be sold by someone else who is now going to close the deal. That is it. There's no cold calling. There's no open up a book and find people to call. No, we're going to give you people who are interested in your product and interested in our product. If you're working for me as a company, it's your job to call them and set up a meeting for someone else who's a bit more qualified to sell them on the actual product. Now, these base salary ranges vary. Your base pay could be anywhere between $50,000 to $90,000. Base salary. Base salary means when you hear people say base salary, it's okay, cool. I'm going to pay you a guaranteed $50,000. I'm going to pay you, a guaranteed $90,000. But on top of that, I'm going to give you commission. And y'all, we've had several shows of people who have a base salary of $75,000, but they're making $150,000 a year. They're making $200,000 a year because of their sales commission. And I think a lot of people are scared of the word sales, but let's be honest, we all sell something every single day and we don't know it. I sell this iPhone every time I use it. All right. So what are the, I would say the pros about working in technology sales? It's pretty much going to be high earning potential, especially with your commissions. And it's a constantly evolving industry. This industry is not going away anytime soon because we all need tech. YouTube is tech. Disney is tech. Apple is tech. Walmart is tech. Amazon is tech. Tech is all around us. YouTube is tech. Podcasting is technology. We all need technology. Technology is not going away anytime soon. It's only going to be evolving, and it's only close to, I think it's like 5 to 7% of African Americans inside of it, which is why I'm a huge fan of Bethel Tech, because they want to get as many people in it, but they have a special heart of helping the minorities get into it more. And we're going to drop their information in the show notes of how you can check out Bethel Tech and get into it. But technology sales is amazing. Now, what are some of the cons? It's very competitive. And you have to stay up to date with trends. Yeah, think about it. Think about this con. Blockbuster was refusing to adapt to technology. They were refusing to go from DVDs, VCRs, or not VCRs, but those tapes, to online. So now all of a sudden, Netflix comes along, and they have nothing but streaming, and Blockbuster's like, no, we got stores like crazy. We don't need to adapt to nothing. They didn't adapt to current technology. And now look at Netflix. They own the market. And where's Blockbuster? Nowhere. They're trying to get into the digital space, but it's not happening. Not the way Netflix is right now. Not the way Amazon is right now. Not the way Apple is right now. And so to really win in this space, you got to stay up to date with trends, because if you don't, you're going to fail. Okay. So what's the pathway to doing this? It's simple, you guys. You really have to gain knowledge on the product that you're serving. You got to build client relationships, and you got to really learn to master the sales process. And what I love about the companies like a Bethel Tech, and once they get you placed on a company, they teach you the process of selling. They teach you how to really, really, really negotiate, how to sell, how to convince people that their product is the best product for that particular person. It's the easiest, I believe, one of the easiest careers that we can get into with no large investment. No large investment. We're seeing right now that a 4-year degree is going to run us anywhere between $100,000 and $115,000. This is going to be for your room, board, tuition, food, you name it. For all that experience for 4 years, long term is about $100,000+ to get your 4-year degree. When the average person is coming out, and what did we say? They're making about $43,000 to $48,000 a year for that income. Now, wait, I just spent $100,000. I get out and I'm only making 43 to about 48. Let's round it up to $50,000 a year. When we know that there are people who are graduating with $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 in student loan debt. So I just spent 4 years without working a full-time job to graduate with this amount of debt, and I only have this amount of income, when I can spend at Bethel Tech $15,000 to get a degree, to get a certificate, and go land me a job making $75,000, $80,000 base plus commission, making about $120,000 to $150,000 a year. But I've only spent maybe $15,000 with them and paid for that cash. So I graduated with no debt. And watch this. Not only did I spend $15,000, but I only spent nine months of my time compared to 4 years of my time. So what really makes sense? Again, I'm not knocking college. Because if you're going to be a doctor, go to school. If you're going to be a lawyer, please go to school. If you're going to be a school teacher, you need to go to school. If you're going to be a nurse, you need to go to school. I don't need no YouTube school. No. Go to a 4-year degree school. I need you to spend 4, 5, 6 years learning the body, learning the signs of this before you start operating on me. I don't need 9 months of YouTube. But if you're going to work with your hands, if you're going to sell something, you don't need to spend 4 years in school for that. So you're going to spend 9 months, spend a quarter of the price, and instantly when you come out, you're making more money than what you spent to learn how to do that particular career. That sounds like a great ROI for me. That's why I fully support Bethel Tech. So again, you can go to anthonyoneal.com/Bethel Tech to learn more about the technology sales area, because technology is the #1 career that's making net worth millionaires. And when I say net worth millionaires, these are individuals who may only make $75,000, $60,000 a year, but because they're maxing out on their 401ks, because they're taking advantage of the match of their 401k, because they're investing into an IRA, because they're maxing out their HSA plans, because they are, maybe buying different kind of investment portfolios, like opening up a CD, having a high yield savings account, because they're doing the basic things and living below their means, not racking up debt and investing properly, they're building a net worth of $1 million. So they're not making $1 million a year, but by the time they turn 60, 65, 50 years old, they have $1 million inside their investments. Now, I want you to think about this, you all. We're not talking about money here, but we're talking about money. Think about it. If you're getting an average of 10% return on $1 million, if you have $1 million in the bank, let me make sure I just do this thing correctly, because I want y'all to make sure, because I know y'all be coming for me in the comments, right? And you take $1 million and you times that by 10% investment, that's $100,000 in interest that your money is making a year. So if you're making $55,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, and you're investing and you're maxing out everything that you can, and you're getting to $1 million, that means you're making $100,000 a year now. Watch this. What do you mean, Anthony, making $100,000 a year? Well, if your investments, all your investments is returning a 10% return on interest, okay? If you're getting a 10% return on your investment every single year on $1 million, what I tell people is don't touch the million, touch the 10%. So now you're making $100,000 a year, because for 30 years you were investing into your future, making $65,000, making $70,000 a year. So now you go from making $50,000 to $60,000 to $70,000 a year to now you got a pay raise. And now you're retired. You're not working every single day, but you're making $100,000 a year now because of your investments, because of your portfolio that you've built. So for me, when people look at me, I'm not investing so I can have, $5, $10, $20 million to live off of. No. I'm putting that money away for my legacy, but I want to live off of the interest of my legacy money. So right now, the money that I'm investing, that's not for me. That's for my kids. That's for my kids' kids. That's for my kids' kids. But I am going to live off of, because I have no debt, my house will be paid for, my investment properties will be paid for. Man, I ain't trying to turn this into no money thing, but I'm loving this right here. I'm loving this right here, because this is why we need these kind of jobs to set us up for the future. We don't need to be making $1 million a year. We don't have to make $500,000 a year to have a net worth of $1 million. No, we need a system, we need strategy, and we need income. Ooh, I feel that's not even on my notes. We need a system to follow, we need a strategy, which is a game plan, and we need income. Now, the larger our income can be, then the quicker we can get there. But you do not have to make $1 million. You do not have to be a millionaire a year to have a net worth of $1 million. So if you're getting this job, like the next one, if you are a commercial pilot, let's say, which is my number 4 career. If you are a commercial pilot who makes on average about $50,000 to $150,000 a year, commercial pilots, they fly the skies while earning a handsome wage, all without a traditional degree. They don't have a traditional degree. They don't have a 4-year degree. I'll play this. A lot of them don't have that. They went to flight school. They went to pilot school, right? But they didn't go to a 4-year degree. Some of them did, but a lot of them did not. But let's just say you're a commercial pilot and you're flying for Southwest. And let's say you're making $125,000 a year. If you're investing 15% of your income into that, and I'm going to drop my wealth calculator in today's show notes, because you can go in there and you can see, okay, wait, if I am investing 15% of my income, if I do this over 30 years, what will my numbers be? And you can see right there what your numbers will be. Wow, Anthony, I can have $1.2 million? Yes, you can. And watch this. That's just from your investments. The majority of my people, I know y'all going to have a side hustle. You're going to have a side business. Some of y'all are entrepreneurs. So you got $1 million over there, but what if your company is doing another $250,000 a year for you? What if your company, you grow that to where it's making you $1 million? Now you got $2 million. You could be a commercial pilot with a side business. But here's what I love about a commercial pilot. You don't need a traditional degree. Now, listen, the average salary, I don't say average, but to get into the business, you're going to start off at you're going to start off at about $50,000. But then you can work your way up to about $150,000, and this all depends on the airline. Now, here's some of the pros. Man, I would love to learn how to fly a plane. Because when you're flying a plane and you're a pilot, that means you're traveling the world. And not just America. If you can fly from California to New York, you can fly from New York to Africa. You can fly from New York to Paris, to France. Like, you get the opportunity to see the world. Do you know how many people, like a lot of my pilot friends, I have like 1 or 2 pilot friends who fly for airlines, but I have a lot of flight attendants. I have a lot of friends who are flight attendants, and you don't need a 4-year degree for that neither. That's not even on my list, but you don't need a 4-year degree for that neither. And they make real good money. They make real good money, and they get to see the world for free. That's the beauty. That is the beauty. Now, here are the cons. Because you get to see the world, you are going to, your schedule going to be a little crazy. They could be gone for 15 days and home for 2 and then back out for 20 more days. We don't know. Your schedule is irregular. And it's a heavy responsibility. As a pilot, those lives are in your hands. You can't afford to make a mistake. You can't do it. You cannot do it. But listen, here's the pathway. The pathway is flight schools. You got to figure out. You got to figure out what's the best flight school for you to go to. You got to get the certificate to fly the planes. And you got to rack up on some hours. I don't know the full process of how many hours you need to fly before you can actually become an actual pilot and fly. But I mean, the first thing is you got to identify, one, is this something that you're actually attracted to? Like, do you get joy flying a plane? Now, I will get joy flying a plane. I ain't gonna lie about that. I would love to learn how to fly just for myself. One of my goals is when I retire, I learn how to fly. And I buy a plane for me to fly myself and to fly my wife and to fly my kids if I have kids. You know, I would actually enjoy that. But it's really not hard. It's really not hard. This next one is probably one of my favorites too, because when we look at wealthy individuals, a lot of the wealth that I see has some level of real estate in it. They have some level, it's attached to something around real estate. So number 5 is a real estate broker. They close deals and they climb the financial ladder. Now their salary range is very, 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 very wide. You could be anywhere from $50,000 to about $200,000 based on commissions and the current market. So like right now, the market is not as hot because our interest rates are crazy. But when interest rates were 2%, 3%, oh my gosh, them real estate brokers were making bank. They were making money. Not just real estate brokers, but real estate agents, you name it. Anyone around the real estate game is a very great opportunity, and you do not have to go to school for that. And what I love about them is the potential of, here are the pros. You have potential of high income. You get to make your own hours. You decide when you want to work, how often you want to work. And so they're very flexible, man. I mean, I think that I love this career. Like I really do love this career because you make your own hours. You get to decide what you want to do. Now, here's some of the downfalls. It's not a steady paycheck, especially in a competitive market. And so there's all kind of seasons. People want to, and again, I'm not a real estate broker, but you can have the winter months. A lot of people don't move during the winter months, but it's the warm months, people are ready to buy and move. And so in this market, you have to learn how you may make out of the $200,000 you could potentially make. You may make 150 of that in 3 months. And you got to be a good steward of your money. You got to budget your money accordingly. You got to be able to track your money and spend your money wisely for the rest of the year, especially during your slow season. I consider real estate brokers like entrepreneurs. I can have 3-4 good months, but normally on the summer months, our income drops because a lot of people are out traveling and enjoying families and not thinking about certain things. So I got to make sure that when I'm making a lot of income during one season, I'm also setting aside extra for my slow seasons. But that still wouldn't scare me away from this particular job because you're telling me I can make $150,000 in 3 months? Okay, I can live off of that for the rest of the year. I just can't get that money and go spend it. Uh-oh. And that is the biggest problem with certain people, especially in these careers. They make all this money and they have not learned how to budget for the remaining part of the year. And they're not tracking their wealth. Here's the last one. These are all interesting careers. Number 6 is a commercial diver. Ooh. I didn't know about this one. When me and my team were looking this up, Michelle gave me this good one. It was good. I knew clearly it had to happen, but I never heard of this career. But I knew somehow in a way we had to have people come down here working. But a commercial diver these are deep dive for lucrative underwater jobs. For an example, they specialize in roles like underwater welding. If you're building, let's say for an example, I don't know too many good examples to really make it, but these are people who are underwater. They're underwater and they're welding. Even in this area, these are people who build bridges and they got to go deep down to build to come up. Right. And they make on average between $50,000 to $150,000 a year. But some of the pros, here are some of the pros. Adventure and daily tasks vary. I don't know what's adventurous about diving, but there are certain people who honestly love diving underwater. And I love it. If you love it, I love it. I'm not really for the deep dive, but if you love it, I love it. Now, here are the cons. It's physically demanding and it is a high-risk job, which is why you're getting paid very, very, very well. You got to go to training schools. You don't need a 4-year degree. And one thing when I was reading about this is you really have to stay healthy and fit because it requires a lot and it pushes a lot on your body. And so I really, 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 really wanted to give you all like 5 or 6 jobs, 5 or 6 careers that are different that a lot of people don't really talk about, that you can make 6 figures without a degree. If you're in a position where you're making $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, and you're thinking, well, I can't get anything else because I do not have a bachelor's degree, I don't have an associate's degree, I want you to consider looking into these careers. I want you to consider going in deeper and seeing, is this something that you can fit? And let's just say, for an example, you find one of these interesting, hey, go apply for one. Go look for one. Go see if you can get into it. If you're interested in tech, check out my friends over there at Bethel Tech. They're going to get you ready in 9 months, And I would definitely say you have about an 80% chance of getting a job instantly because of their relationships. So we'll drop the information in today's show notes. And I promise you, you guys, you're gonna thank me later. But here's the key thing. If the average household income is making about $65,000, if the average single person is making $43,000 to $48,000 a year, you guys, these jobs are going to get you way more income and higher than the average income. And I don't want a community of people that are settling for average. I want us to work hard and do some magic. Remember, the caliber of our future will be determined on the choices that we make today. And we need to make the right choice. And sometimes we have to do jobs that are not necessarily what we really want to do. But it is a means and it is a vehicle to get us to what we want to do. So check these jobs out. Let me know. Hey, listen, I named 6. If you know any more, drop them in the comments below. Let us know, hey, I'm in this career field. It didn't require a degree. It required this, and I'm making this amount of money. Let us know. And hey, we may highlight some of these and bring these up in the future. All right, it's your boy, Anthony ONeal. I love you. God bless you. Peace out. See you in the next show.